Hello and welcome to the Entertainment Biz Show presented by Vouch. I'm your host, Justin Jacobson. Just as a reminder, nothing here is intended as legal advice, as all the information is for educational purposes only. Special thanks to our sponsor, Vouch. Vouch is a digital gig marketplace where talent and businesses can hire other pre-approved individuals to streamline talent searches, and where industry dot connectors can earn commissions for making talent referrals. Visit vouch-app.com to learn more about the world's first social utility network where it truly pays to know people. #ad. Thanks for joining us. This week's guest is Justin Dotmild. He's a content creator and the co-founder and CSO of DSB Media. They're an agency for creators and influencers where they help with their digital marketing and management. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to speak today.
Glad to have you. So to start, tell us about founding the agency. Why did you launch it, and what was kind of the initial vision?
Yeah, so actually starting the agency wasn't ever supposed to happen, and I'm very lucky for that aspect. I mean, we initially started off, myself as a content creator at the time was working with an editor. The editor was a good friend, and he had another client with him that I also was friends with. And so the three of us were kind of rolling and, exploring what social media had to offer. And each of us at some point in time had experiences working with other agencies before. And, we always talked all the time. It was like a 6-month process of us just talking all the time about all the bad experiences that we had and, all that was out there to allow creators to grow and, what we would do differently. And it kind of enveloped into this idea of, last November, it was, hey, let's do this ourselves. And luckily enough, we wanted to take it to an approach of how can we do this with no upfront cost to creators? And for us, TikTok was the perfect segue into that to kind of launch our agency with their creator network program, as well as, the TikTok shop program. It was an easy way to teach creators to monetize right away and allow us to build up our company without much expenditure needed at first. And from there, we've been able to branch out, and it's been a really big blessing. And it's really cool because my two other founders, just business relationships prior. We weren't that great of friends. Everything we ever did and all of our conversations were all business oriented. So it wasn't like, oh, I went into business with my friends. No, I went into business with other business guys. And it was a blessing in disguise because we all got along, and it just became and developed into this wonderful thing now where we help over 2,000 content creators right now with their content. And it's just been a dream come true for me to really build a company focused on creators.
Amazing. So why don't we talk about, some of the services you offer, how does it work with different talent?
Yeah, so baseline, our big fundamental mission was be the answer for any creator at any size, right? And TikTok was our way to get in that. Also to help us, earn a profit without having much expenditure, like I said. But for anybody who wanted to start creating content, we could immediately work with them inside of our creator network. Now, a creator network allows us to work with them on the live streaming side of TikTok to earn and to develop themselves as a creator. And it's a good entry into and a good gateway basically into the rest of the content creation world. Because if you're a good creator, TikTok exposes you to so many people right away on the live streaming side. From there, we were able to just work with people right away, and we had a lot of success. And then how it works is we offer coaching, band support. We actually partner with TikTok to be able to do this. We basically act as a third party for social media management for TikTok creators. And then along with that, we do TikTok shop as well, teaching people how to sell online, some more the e-commerce side, teaching them how to sell products, teaching them how to create UGC style content too. And that was our biggest offering at first. And then from there, now we've expanded out to do social media consulting. As creators naturally grow, we can take creators within our own ecosystem and sign them where we handle, brand deals, or we handle consultant work, and we handle those types of things to help turn them from that beginning creator. We call them rookie creators in terms of like our community and our network and what we've been able to do, from rookie creators into pro creators, people that understand, people that are developed at a really high level. So on the baseline, just typical band support, social media coaching. This is what social media is. UGC style content, if you want to take that kind of route too, we work with those creators. And then on the larger side, that's when we're talking brand deals, consulting, editing work. We have people within our network that are able to do that, in our company that are able to do that. And it's been really, really cool.
Amazing. So what kind of moments kind of stood out to you as you were growing? Anything that's like, oh, wow, like this was great?
Yeah, I think the first moment is when we had our first meeting on how we were going to create this company and what was our vision for the company. Because for us, we stick with a very concise vision. Everything that we do is within the same vision of being the total answer for any content creator, any sides, lowering the barrier to entry to great social media management, and utilizing the creator economy. So when we came up with the idea of how we were going to build this company, the first thing was greed was never going to be a thing. You see so many times in different company managers or different entrepreneurs, greed is a big thing, right? They want to get the quick cash. For us, it was the exact opposite of that. You know, when we first started at the company, none of us took any money out. We were all doing it solely based off passion, which is what brought us to that point. So it was exciting. And when we built the company up, we decided to hire people to work alongside of us, and we were paying them more than we were getting paid as owners of the company. So it was a super cool thing. That was one of the big shifting points that I realized, oh, this is really going to work out because we have the right mentalities in place. And then the next biggest one for us is when we finally landed our partnership with TikTok to act as a creator network. There's a big process behind that. It can take months for some people to be able to get into that program. And we were able to glide through very quickly. And I knew we were doing it right because there is like a kind of a warm-up stage to what the program actually is. And for some companies, it takes, a couple months to go through this program to learn how to be a true creator network, to prove that you can work with live streamers at a very high level, especially on the TikTok landscape. And we were able to breeze through that in less than a month. We hit every number that they were looking for within a month and be able to get out. And, that proved to us that our methods are working. We know how to work with creators. Everything that we've done throughout our careers, I've been working in social media for 7 years. Our other co-founders combined another 15 years behind that. Okay, so we know what we're doing. And that was a big realization moment for us that we may have hit the right target. We may have hit the right niche. We may be doing the right things on how we're building this company. So for me, those are the two biggest moments. I mean, lately, as we started to branch out, take on bigger creators, it was a realization with our staff. We had a guy recently we brought in and very high level, social media managers. And we realized, oh, we're doing this. Like we have the people on staff now that have done amazing things, even outside of our own ownership. And that was a huge thing as we sat down at a meeting and we involve our staff in a lot of our plannings for the future because we want them to have as much say as we do because we believe they're as much as a part of us as we are of them. And we had that new plan and we laid it out for 2025 and everything lined up perfectly into place. And so far it's been going off without a hitch. And that just happened recently. So I've been very, very excited about that.
Amazing. So how do you guys kind of, acquire different new talent? Is it referrals or are you out networking and scouting new talent? How does that process work?
I feel like I want to say like D, all the above, right?
Yeah.
We have things
both,
broken
right?
down. Yeah, it really is. I mean, when it comes to bringing in new talent, of course, there's the connections that you already made. Luckily, we have a great staff that has a lot of connections to amazing content creators. And I love all content creators. Everybody brings something new to the table, and I love that. But we bring it that way. We also bring in we have a great group of people for us that are basically a sales team, right? Or recruiting team. They're constantly going out recruiting, and there's so many amazing people. And, the reason why we're able to have success in that market is the greed ties in again. We looked at what industry standard, how much recruiters get paid, and we upped it. We are way higher than industry standard because we felt like that was going to make people work the best, give people stability, and that's worked out. We've had great proven results from that. Along with it, we also work alongside other big creators that are within our network to refer in other creators because some of the biggest voices that we have are our own creators. And hearing the success stories has been awesome to see. Like our biggest creators are vouching for what we're doing and they're buying into our mission. And that's been one of the best selling points that even I couldn't foresee when we first started.
Right. And I think that's one of the, especially in these entertainment, niche kind of influencer talent worlds, the referral, the cosign, the vouch, nod to our sponsor that is infinitely valuable, right? It's someone who's doing stuff at a high level. It's like, oh, these guys are great. They're really helping me. And that's how other great people come to you, right? Like it's this chain reaction and then when you keep succeeding and delivering, you keep succeeding and delivering, right? It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh my gosh, yes. And actually the funniest one now is if we go onto Twitter sometimes, we'll have like big name creators ask, I want to work with TikTok or I want to, grow my channels. Who do I need to talk to, right? I need somebody to work with us. And we have our own creators that are already within our network. They're tagging us underneath. Like that is the best feeling in the world when you have people like that are just going out for you. And then when creators come to us and be like, hey, I heard about you from this big name creator, that creator's not even within our network. So even people outside of our network are seeing, and creators that we don't even work with on a day-to-day basis are hearing about what we have going on and sending people our way. So it's just the biggest blessing to have that happen. It really is a testament to like our team and our staff and what we've been able to do so far.
So, obviously there's always the other side. So what, kind of mistakes or hurdles did you encounter, and how were you able to kind of learn and adapt to it? What kind of learnings have you guys encountered?
Yeah, I think the speed of everything. I mean, you know it more than anybody. In the entertainment industry, things go 4 times faster than the rest of the business world. People are always adapting. There's things always changing, right? I mean, algorithms change, I feel like, every 2 months. It depends on what's going on, right? So we have to adjust accordingly. So yeah, sometimes we've messed up. We've looked at algorithms and we're like, okay, this is what should work, and it doesn't work, right? And we have to rebound, revamp. We have a guy on staff who's, testing things all the time. So that's one of our mistakes. And internally, we're a startup company still. I still consider everything a startup. I, as the youngest member of our staff, as well as I'm the youngest owner I'm the youngest member of our staff, I do the bare bones too. Like, I have to do the startup work. I have to work alongside our lowest level employees to try to figure things out. And even I mess up sometimes there too, but just internal structure and how we're going to build up, there's always plans. Right? Everybody's got grandiose ideas, because when people enter into the entertainment world, they think, oh, we're just going to strike it big rich, right? And everybody's got the big ideas on what's going to happen. Oh, we just need to sign these 2 people and we'll be good. No. Okay, it's a grind. It is a grind to get there, and every big content creator can tell you. And in the startup world, it's the exact same, right? It's a grind to get there, and consistency and being able to adapt has been a struggle at some points for us, because that's just how it works with the speed of everything.
Right. So why don't we talk a little about your content creator career? So, what kind of content do you create? Why'd you get into it? And kind of how have you grown over the years?
Yeah, so I actually started making content right before the Fortnite boom. I got really lucky, and that kind of entered me into the whole world of what true content creation, esports, all of that is, right? And I ran it for as long as possible, and I enjoyed doing it, and then transitioned over to the Call of Duty scene. And instead of making my own Call of Duty content, I worked behind the scenes, right? And during that time, I was in college. I was very heavily involved in business programs at my university, and a lot of hard work there, and that took away from content creation. I also played college football too, so time wasn't my best friend. But as my body said, you can't play sports anymore, I got the itch, right? The itch to start making my own content again. And for me, I'm a big proponent on learning about business. I study business for fun. I try to sneak into as many business classes as I can on the side. Don't tell any teachers, but I like to ask my friends for Zoom links every once in a while. But throughout the studies, I actually found this great thing. It's called the hedgehog model. I forget what book it's in. Maybe I'll send it to you one day. But if you know business, you've probably seen the hedgehog model. What drives your economic engine? What are your passions? And you kind of find the middle ground of that. And I kind of did that with my own mentality on what kind of content I was going to make. And I found, like, I played college football. I love making content, and I can drive money from it by posting TikToks and then transitioning those viewers over to YouTube, kind of built this whole model from it. And for me, it was football. Like, it was Madden content. NCAA wasn't released at the time. And, I was able to have some success on Madden content, using what I know about algorithms from working with content creators in the past, agencies, also making my own content, in Fortnite, and then Call of Duty a little bit here and there, just tweaking with other people's stuff too. I just made Madden content, and I, over the course of a couple months, kind of perfected it in. I post franchise content now, which for most people is considered a dead niche. A dead niche, if you don't know in content, is something that's considered to be not worth growing in, because it's kind of dead, basically. You're not going to get viewers from it. But luckily for me, I'm able to do millions of views every single year posting franchise content, use it to earn a living, also making content, and it's been super, super fun. I'm a storyteller at heart. I like storytelling about football and talking about football all day long. So that's what I post, long form series on short form content. So breaking up like 80 episode series on my TikTok right now, posting franchise content. And then the long form goes onto YouTube and stuff like that. So I really do enjoy doing that. That's always been a passion of mine. So that will be a passion of mine continuing on.
So have you been able to kind of, adapt with the changing algorithms and, use that obviously as a content creator, but also as an agency?
For me, it's be the dumbest person in the room, right? And I say that, and it sounds crazy, but to be able to learn, right? Because a lot of people and a lot of content creators, and what I've seen over the years is ego is great because it can get you somewhere, but it can also be the death of whatever you're doing, right? So anytime you walk into a room, or anytime you hop into a call with another creator, be the dumbest person. Be willing to learn, willing to hear things out. I jump in so many calls every single day with creators that don't even have numbers like I do making my own content. But if they go ahead and they say something that I may have not even realized, then we can apply it, right? And I have a whole staff now on the agency side doing that. They're streaming every single day and they work for us. So they're reporting back what they're seeing and we're taking notes constantly on things that are changing. But then along with that, cross niche analysis, right? A lot of ideas in content work cross niche. So for example, I use gaming a lot. I work in gaming mostly, but if a Fortnite creator makes a type of content, a type of challenge or whatever, that same challenge may work over at Minecraft. And we've seen the same thing. So you see what works across different niches. Don't just focus in. Don't get narrow-minded when you're trying to build something up. And that's been a big proponent as well. But definitely be the dumbest person in the room. Listen, study, do your own research as well too. Like I'm going to out myself here. I have about like 27 different TikTok accounts that I've liked different niches just to follow things along, just to always study. And we have a couple guys on staff that also do that. So it's always fun. We always compare and cross notes. So that's a good time. Dude, those meetings are fun.
Nice. I mean, I think that's what makes this so unique is that there's not just a math formula. Right? It's not 1 + 1 = 2, right? It's like 1 + 1 = 2 this month, but next week it's 3 - 7 = 5, and after that it's like who knows, 5 to the second power, and it's do you think that that's a benefit to content creators? Should it be like that?
I think most of the time, yeah, because content itself is always evolving, right? If you go back and look at what content, and just content in general, music, art, videos, from where it was 10 years ago to where it is now, the evolution is insane. You're seeing, just YouTube videos alone, right? You start 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, it was a guy at a zoo, got millions of views. Now you have high scale $1 million+ productions getting views, and it's just the effort, the intensity, the styles, the algorithms that they're trying to hit in terms of how they edit and how they create the content is just borderline unimaginable. If I were to go back that long ago and really kind of look at what it's developed into, it's super, super cool. And that's why I love this niche, man. It moves, and I love content creation in general, just the creative side, because you're always trying to push the boundaries. You're always trying to figure out what's the next. And it's like a puzzle that you don't have the answer to, but you can kind of piece it together. If you piece it together better than everybody else, then you really got something valuable.
I think that's like a perfect segue to the next question. So are there any social or technological innovations that you're using, you're advocating with your talent, AI, or how do we think that any of this might help grow your business in the future?
I think technology that's developed, AI is an interesting one. And I love AI right now. I use it on day-to-day tasks, keeping notes for myself in terms of, I use it for proofreading, but that's a whole separate conversation. But
that's spell check. Everyone has realized you've been using AI forever. It's called spell check.
That's great. But there's a ton of new technology out there. Editing platforms like Adobe and all those are always improving. So there's always great advancements in what they're doing. I love their updates coming into 2025, and I'm excited to hear. But in terms of other technology, man, it's really just, AI is the big focus point. And how can we apply it to startup companies, especially with limited manpower, limited staff? And we're seeing it not in all startups, but in a good majority, taking roles away from certain people. But we've kind of used it and kind of viewed it as a role enhancer, right? If somebody doesn't have the questions that they need or needs help with certain things, AI is there as your assistant, as an employee, to help you out. So I've encouraged the use of it, especially when it comes to analyzing and looking at data for me on the biggest side, right? Dealing with 2,000 creators, so many different pieces of data at once. I can use AI. I can use tools that are available to us to analyze and see things that I may not even see with the human eye. Maybe I'm running a formula that I don't even know yet because of an advancement like that, seeing trend lines, seeing, impression numbers, anything like that, and trying to quantify things down too. AI is a great tool, and I really expect it to continue to grow. For now, I use it as a baseline, but I'm excited to see where it goes in the next couple of years.
What about in content creation or as content creators? Does it benefit? Does it help with the algorithm? How does that fit into everything with growth?
I'm worried. This is where I think AI is harming people, because AI is taking away from the creative aspect. And that's one of the things I am worried about. So for content creators, I try to have them think of their own ideas first anytime I'm working with a creator, or the human ideas, because sometimes the algorithms aren't fine-tuned enough to know what people want to watch. It just goes off what data it has, right? And so sometimes it doesn't give the best responses. When AI first launched, if you asked it to write a tweet, it would put 20 million hashtags in there. That's not how Twitter works.
It doesn't work anymore
that. Right? Because it works off old data and bad data. So you have to be careful about it. But in terms of like the consulting side and, working with creators saying, hey, this video is going to work, I think the human creativity touch to it still means a lot in today's day and age.
So what advice and, common mistakes do you see talent make when they engage in content creation?
The first one I would say is lower your ego. And this is something that I talked about, I use all the time in my day-to-day work, but creators need to lower their egos in a sense of, yes, the egos are going to get you somewhere, but if you're willing to listen and learn, right? You have people consulting, you have people working for you and with you for a reason, right? And you even have so many amazing editors out there that have edited pieces of content that have gone nuclear viral because it's the editor's touch that does it. It's not always the content, right?
It's like the producer in the music. Like there's a music producer, like they add that extra touch. That's why Timbo is Timbo, right? Timbaland on the beat. Like there's just this added, touch that a master of their craft brings.
Yeah, so be willing to listen to people around you. And along with that too, today content creators, and this is one of the reasons I do love TikTok, don't burn yourself out, right? The worst thing you can do is have success for 3 months and be done because you can't do it anymore mentally. We see that so much with creators to the point where like half of my calls in today's day, like just the past couple of months, right?
All my calls quitting or slowing down.
Yes, are just telling people, hey, it's okay to take a break. Like, it's okay to slow down. You don't need to stream for 7 hours anymore. That's not what's going to help you. In today's day and age, you sit there, you stream 2 to 3 hours, you get clips ready that can go up. If you have clipping channels or you make organic original content for short form and for long form videos, that's going to be more beneficial than sitting in front of somebody and streaming 10 hours on Twitch. You're not going to get the exposure you need. We're in a world of where eyes matter. And the more eyes you can get on yourself on a daily basis is how successful you're going to be when it comes to sponsors, to fans, to all of that. So figure out ways to get your eyes on you. Don't just put out content to the world. Sit down, figure out how to edit, figure out how to do everything you need. Even if you're just a solo content creator, figure out how to edit, figure out how to make your own clips, figure out how to set up clipping clipping TikToks or Instagrams for you and create a machine there where, maybe you're only in front of the camera for 3 hours a day, but you're going to have a lot more success from that instead of streaming 12 hours.
So what advice do you have for anyone that's maybe trying to follow, your guys' path of, running an agency and kind of creating this business? What skills should they acquire?
Yeah, I think it's the ability to grind. I mean, nowadays in startup, I'm competing against corporate giants and I'm just a kid who's 22 years old about to turn 23 tomorrow. Like that's the people we're competing against. And so be willing to grind, but also be willing to build up the staff, right? Everybody wants the money right away. Pay your staff first, build up your people around you, because if you want them to buy into what you're doing as a company, right? If you want to go ahead and compete in this, global now space of content creation, there is a million people trying to get into it a day. There are millions of people making videos. There's millions of agencies trying to pop up, trying to work with creators, trying to sign creators. It's a very
podcast just like this one.
Exactly.
Right? We all got a microphone and we think that we're, we're the next Walter Cronkite here.
Yeah, and it's a competitive landscape. So what sets you apart? Right? What can you bring to the table differently? Right? And for us over here, it's experience in terms of how long our team has already been doing this and the information that we can provide, but also it's our ability to sit there and, sacrifice the money now for the money later. And that's been a big thing too. And that's a big thing that we believed in. So my advice for people is lower your expectations right away because you're entering into the most competitive landscape of all time, but also have the confidence in yourself to go out on a limb. I mean, how did I meet you? I walked up at an event and said hi, and now we've been friends for 2 years now. And it's just been one of the coolest experiences because we've developed a relationship, and this relationship has transpired as I built an agency now and everything like that. You have to have the confidence in yourself to walk up and have those conversations, whether with creators, with people like yourself, in the entertainment, the best lawyer I know, and stuff like that. Like that's the confidence you need to have to be able to build a company like this.
Right. And I think that one of the points that you made that I feel like is really overlooked in business is treating your employees well, treating your staff, like treating the people that are, like you said, buying into your vision and are here to do the stuff that you're not. It makes them feel a little bit more of an ownership over it. They feel like they're valued and their time is valued. And at the end of the day, those people are going to work a little bit harder than the employee that feels like the boss is taking advantage of them, or like they're out on the yacht every day and I'm sitting here with my broke down car. Like, you're laughing, but like there is a mentality of treat people well, and are going to work harder for you.
Yeah, our two biggest employees right now, well, three biggest. One quit his job and just had no job and actually ended up working for us part-time before going full-time. And the other two, one was a stay-at-home mom and one was a stay-at-home dad. And both of them were able to provide purpose where now they're full-time working for us. And if I call them up, they will do anything on the spot for any one of our ownerships or any one of our staff because they're available, they're free, they've bought into what we're doing. We give them purpose to their work and we give them a lot of leverage, right? They have a lot of say in how we go about things because they've been with us now for so long. And it is one of the best experiences to sit in a call with somebody, especially as an agency owner or as a company owner, as a startup owner, and have an employee tell you that you've changed their life. You've given them purpose that they haven't seen yet. And take that same thing into content creators. As an agency owner, if you're working with content creators, build purpose build a vision into your creators. So yes, that first video you may do with them may not work, but if they see the vision on what we're trying to get to, right? Hey, this is a 2-year process. This is a 1-year process to build your channel up to 100,000 followers or whatever they're looking for. Get them to see the vision before they take the first step. And once they start going, then they'll buy into it even more. And then you'll never have to remind them to do anything in the world because they'll be ahead of you. They'll be trying to do it more than you are even trying to do it for them.
Right. And like I've heard it takes at least 30 YouTube videos for the algorithm to even understand what you're doing and where to push you. And like, if you think about it, that one video a week, that's almost half a year to get to any sort of traction. And it's, that's a big, I don't know, how is it going to grow kind of world at that point.
Yeah, the best piece of advice I ever got for this was see a little, see a lot, see a lot, see nothing. So if you try to see a lot, right? See every algorithmic point, everything all at once, you're not going to see anything, right? Because you can't hone in on anything. But if you see a little, see a lot, see nothing. So if you see a little and you focus in on that little bit, so that one algorithmic marker. Okay, for the next videos, we're going to try to hit this little marker, right? Maybe it's your watch duration. Let's try to get it up by 2 minutes, right? And that's your only focus for the next 5 videos. So you see a little bit, you narrow it in, that's going to help you. And then you can move on to that next see a little. You can focus on that next little algorithmic point. And over time, that will build you into we call them undeniable creators, where they understand they can do things, they can post anything they want and they'll have success because they're so at that pro level.
They're honed in on how to send the message, how their audience is going to receive it, and crack the formula.
Yes, 100%.
So is there anything that you kind of learned that you kind of wish you knew when you started?
When I first started, I thought the algorithms were going to be a little bit easier to understand. I'll be fully honest. The reason why I am now is because I came in with a little bit of an ego, maybe a mistake that I had, right? I thought this was going to be a little bit easier than what it was. And, building up a company like this, I thought it was going to be easier than what it was. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And we had to sit down and figure that all out and figure out, hey, how to build the company the right way, how to structure it. Our biggest problem was consistency, right? We wanted to do things one way, and then all of a sudden we're trying to do things a different way. No, it's consistency, and what people expect from you as a company needs to be there, because if they're not consistent, if you're not consistent in how you handle operations, if you're not consistent in how you handle work with creators and communicate that way, none of it's going to get figured out. So that's one big thing I would change. But overall, I think everybody changes when they're in a startup company, especially at this stage. But, that's one of the things that I would really, really wish I knew right away.
Right. The algorithm is it's a beast, and it changes. And even the SEO people, the same thing. It's they're working on this whole plan, and then it changes halfway through. And it's well, we were doing this because it made sense at that point, but now it changes, and you have to be able to, adapt, as you mentioned, the entertainment industry, how it all works, how people consume content changes over time, right? What Mr. Beast did 2 years ago, he's not doing now. You have to adapt a little bit.
Yeah, I think adapting is huge. I mean, you made a great, he was counting to saying Logan Paul 100,000 times, so now he's putting on an Amazon show. That is awesome. That is so cool to see. But also adapting in the terms of how your company is run, especially from the agency owner's side, building it all up. That adaptability and understanding how things should change and how things should stay consistent is just a massive deal breaker for a lot of creators. Because what I see from high profile creators now, they want establishment. They want, hey, this is how we're going to do it. Nothing's going to change. A lot of content creators on bigger sizes don't like change. A lot of people don't like change nowadays.
Yeah.
But things are always changing. But they want to see consistency in how you approach different things. And as long as that consistency is there, that's going to be a big selling point. You're not even going to realize it.
So what are some of your most memorable, moments to date during, the building the company?
The most memorable moment to date is I was sitting in my college apartment at the time. So I was still in college when we landed our contract to work with TikTok. And I'm sitting on my floor and I realized how good our team was when it was 4:30 in the morning when we got the notification that we got our contract. So I'm sitting on my floor. Our other co-founder was sitting in his apartment on the floor, and we are just on a FaceTime call, just chilling for 2 hours, talking about the vision on what we can do. And that was one of the most memorable. I have it ingrained in my head. I even took a picture of us from my webcam at the time, just because I wanted to savor that moment. Because I knew at that moment that, hey, our lives could change forever if we do this the right way. The next biggest thing that stuck out to me is I sat in a call with a content creator the other day, and he broke down in tears. Like, visibly, I'm on the phone with him, and he is crying. And he's not crying tears of sadness because, everybody's worried about the TikTok ban and all this other stuff. No, he's crying tears of joy because he made his first payment on his first ever car because of what we were able to do for him. And those moments, right? That's all I've been chasing my entire life, is the ability to work with people like that, work with content creators like that, be able to change somebody's life. We found this kid when he was a ninja clipping channel and he went live, and he was just found by one of our recruiters at the time who was just looking for people to stream on TikTok with us when we were first starting out. A couple months later, it's almost a year later now, he is over 100,000 followers. He makes well over $5,000. Now he's closing on $10,000 a month, making content, playing the game that he loves with his own personal brand that we built from him from scratch. And yes, I've had other conversations like that with other creators, and it's always a blessing to see. That's just the one that really sticks out for me, because I was like, that's the reason why we do this. That's the reason that we built our mission the way we did. That's the way we built our vision the way we did. So that creator, that kid who never thought he was going to make it in content by his own, so he just clipped for extra cash on the side, now has a self-sustaining brand where anytime he hits live now, he's going to have a couple hundred people watching him, and he's going to have fun playing the game that he loves.
Amazing. So what's the future for you as a content creator?
For me as a content creator, or me as an agency owner?
Well, that's going to be the second part. So, what's the future for you as a content creator?
Yeah, for me as a content creator, man, I'm just going to continue to grind. As things move out of the startup phase, my goal is to be more consistent. I now have a great editor who works for me, and I talk about team building. He actually now works for our staff as well at DSB on the agency side full-time too, because we've been able to provide him a job there. But I have a great editor. I have a great thumbnail designer now. I'm building out the staff. I'm building out everything. My goal is to post 365 times in 365 days. Right after this, I'm going to hop right into editing a video that you're going to see on your For You page next. So the goal there is just building out consistency now that we're out of the startup phase and, getting really ingrained with it. We've done a really good last year. We did really good last year. Over 20 million views on just TikTok alone. If you go over to the other platforms, it's like 35 million views, I think is the number across the board in 2024. The goal is 50 on my own content across the board, and I'm really excited, and also hit YouTube a lot harder, get more consistent with that, because I've been uploading, trying to do once a week, but as a startup guy, it's been tough sometimes to get videos out, traveling, moving, all that fun stuff, visiting out to different events and stuff. So I'm excited for the content creator side a lot.
Amazing. So what's the future for the agency? Where are you guys kind of going from here?
Yeah, so the agency side, we work a lot with TikTok right now. That was our basis of everything, and we've branched out to do consulting and creator management. Our goal is to build that side up into its full operational capacity, right? We are investing the resources, the time, the people. We have amazing people working on it right now. I love our staff, and we're looking to sign bigger content creators. We're looking to develop in and build better and bigger relationships with brands to support these creators on their journeys. We are now seeing we're calling it phase one. We're seeing a ton of creators now transitioning out of just streaming on TikTok and creating content there. And so we're starting to consult them on expanding out to other platforms, building brands. How do you build identity into what you're doing and translate audiences from different platforms? So we're seeing that as well happen. So that's going to be a big focal point where we should see phase 1, 2, and 3 in 2025. So the first 3 big waves of like 5 or 6 content creators per. We can transition out and just do consulting for them across all platforms. But for me, mainly what I want to see as a company is more success stories, because I always want that. But also, a fully functioning, we have 20, 30, 50 creators under our belt by the end of the year doing full-scale social media management, full-scale sponsorship acquisition for them, and really help them achieve their dreams.
Amazing. So we're definitely excited to see how everything grows, and We'll have to keep checking out all the content. So thank you so much for joining us. Tell everybody where they can find you and learn more about you and your content and the agency.
Yeah, so I'm Dotmild everywhere on every platform outside of MySpace, I think. That was the only place I couldn't get my username. But no, I'm Dotmild, so Dotmild. That's my Madden content as well as my personal accounts. From there, dsbagency.com or DSB Media Agency across Twitter, Instagram, all of those platforms. You can come check us out. And, I want to give a quick shout out to you, Justin. I do appreciate your hard work. It doesn't go unrecognized here, helping us out as well as so many other startup companies, charities. That's how I met you, actually, through a charity. And, you've done a lot of amazing work. And, you come highly requested in everything that you do from our creators. It's been a really cool thing to see and how much work that you have done to help people achieve their dreams, even outside of just your legal work. So I do appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. It's definitely making me blush a little, but it's always nice to feel appreciated. So, thanks everybody for tuning in, and thanks to our sponsor Vouch. Make sure to check them out, and make sure to follow me on Instagram, JustinJESQ, and check YouTube, Apple Music, and Spotify for all our past episodes.